David had always loved old houses. Their eerie charm fascinated him, so when he found a Victorian mansion at a bargain price, he moved in without hesitation. The first few nights were peaceful, but then it started. At exactly 3 a.m., whispers drifted through his bedroom, soft at first like the wind murmuring through the walls. But soon they grew distinct. They called his name. One night, determined to find the source, David stayed awake. The whispers began, and he turned toward the darkened corner of his room. As his eyes adjusted, he saw something, a shadow darker than the night itself, shifting along the wall. His breath hitched as the whispers turned into a single voice, his own. David scrambled to turn on the light, but when the room illuminated, the shadow was gone. He barely slept that night, but exhaustion eventually claimed him. The next morning, he found deep scratch marks on the wall where the shadow had been. That night, he didn't sleep at all. And the night after that, he never woke up. Mark was driving home late from work when he heard it, a baby's cries echoing from the dense forest lining the deserted highway. He slowed down, his heart pounding. A baby, alone in the woods. He pulled over, stepping cautiously toward the trees. The crying grew louder. Something wasn't right. "Hello?" he called, his voice shaking. Silence. Then a whisper right behind him. That was a mistake. His blood ran cold. He spun around, but the road was empty. His car door was wide open. The engine was off. Mark bolted toward his vehicle, but before he could reach it, he felt icy fingers wrap around his wrist, pulling him back into the darkness. His car was found the next morning, parked exactly where he had left it. The driver's seat was covered in muddy footprints. But Mark, he was never seen again. Emily had always been afraid of her closet. "Mommy, the closet man is watching me," she whispered one night. Her mother sighed. "There's nothing in there, sweetheart. See?" She opened the closet door. Still, Emily refused to sleep. She insisted that when the lights were off, the closet man smiled at her from the dark. That night, as she lay trembling beneath her blankets, the door creaked open. Slow, deliberate. A raspy breath filled the silence. Emily shut her eyes tight. If she didn't look, maybe it would go away. The bed dipped. Her tiny body stiffened as something cold crawled in beside her. Bony fingers traced her cheek. Then a voice whispered in her ear, "Shh. If you scream, Mommy will see me too." Her mother found her bed empty the next morning. The only sign of her was the closet door, wide open, revealing a single word scratched into the wood. Mine. Lisa loved her vanity mirror. It had been in her family for generations, its ornate frame holding secrets of the past. One night, as she brushed her hair, she noticed something strange. Her reflection wasn't copying her. She stopped. Her reflection didn't. It kept brushing. Slowly. Lisa's breath hitched. She raised her hand. The reflection raised its opposite. She turned her head. The reflection didn't. Then it grinned. She wasn't smiling. Her reflection's lips moved. It spoke without sound, but Lisa understood. "Let me out!" She leaped back, knocking over the mirror. Glass shattered across the floor, but when she dared to look down, her reflection was still intact, standing in the shards, staring up at her. Then it stepped forward. Jake's phone buzzed at midnight. He glanced at the screen. His own number. Confused, he answered. Static, then breathing.
Hello?
A whisper came through the speaker. "Don't turn around." Jake's blood ran cold. His bedroom was dark except for the dim glow of his phone screen. He was alone. Wasn't he? He wanted to hang up. He wanted to run. But something made him glance at the reflection in his TV screen. There was a figure standing right behind him. Jake dropped his phone, spun around. Nothing, but his window was open. The curtains fluttered, and muddy footprints led from the outside to his bed.